Yeah, hi peeps, it's Tersse back in the old squat box once again. I've just been watching a programme on fractals on YouTube, not obviously, but it reminded me, I worked with fractals. I used to work with a company called Chaos Design, and one of the first things that I was doing when I moved to Chaos Design to work for them was we were making fractal videos. That was, we were producing fractals on a computer and capturing the fractals frame by frame and building them up into moving fractals and then putting music to it. One of the things we used to do was just capture certain fractal pictures. That was the most primitive thing that we did, was just capture a fractal picture and then we cycled colour through the different layers of the fractal. To music, and it's amazing how the changes from, you know, the colour changes actually fitted with the beat at certain speeds of cycling the colour, you know. And so for like mood music, you know, sort of therapeutic slow music, you know, you would cycle at a very slow speed and it would just like bloom out, you know, and it seemed to be able to fit with sort of therapeutic music. But then you could put it to like, you know, really high-paced techno music and up the speed of the you know, the colour cycling, and it fitted to the music. So it an amazing appeal to people, and we sold a lot of videos just of pictures cycling colour, you know, with good music on it, you know. But then when we get into flying through fractals, that really took a lot of time, because we were working on, after all, a 386 IBM computer. You know, back in '73, you know, it was primitive computing compared to today. You could probably make fantastic fly through videos now of fractals, you know. But that's not what I just wanted to talk about. I think fractals have something for physicists, you know, particle physicists to look at as well. What sprang into my mind, and it's just a crazy fucking idea that I've got. We look on particles as, you know, you've got the centre of the particle, the proton, and then you've got lots of electrons going around them like planets around the sun. And this is the way that we view the world as humans. It's straight lines for buildings, and it's curves for, you know, planets orbiting suns and stuff. Because really that's what we see. It's not a circle. It's actually an ellipsoid, so it's more like an egg shape or you know, something like that. So what if the reason that particle physicists don't really get what's happening with an electron circling a proton is because they believe that it should move in a circular or in an elliptoid motion? But what if it's not moving in a circular or an elliptoid motion? Because we know that if you impart energy to an electron, it jumps from one state to another state. But what if electrons are actually sucking the proton and naturally have a varying higher and lower state themselves, and so they're not going in ellipsoids, they're actually jumping up and down as they go around, you know what I mean? So it's like a zigzag, you know, around the, you know, of higher, lower, you know, and maybe even worse than that. It might be going higher, lower, higher, lower, higher. So it could be like a really weird fractal pattern that these particles, electrons, are taking around the proton. So I'm just thinking, you know, maybe physicists need to sort of change the way they look at the path of an electron. It's not a clear, straight path with gravity or electromagnetism pulling it towards the proton. It's actually an energetic state which is fluctuating every millisecond, every millisecond, you know. And so it's more like a jagged pattern. It's got those jagged edges you see in fractals. And perhaps if some physicists was to try and use some some added fractal view, some broken, jagged movement to the electron rather than the smooth path or waveform that they believe is in existence. Perhaps we might make a small breakthrough in understanding why you can never both know the direction or the speed of a particle. It might mean more computation, but it might give us a closer understanding of what is actually happening with electrons and particles when they move. It could be that they're not moving in straight lines. Maybe light doesn't move in a straight line. Maybe it moves in an erratic jumping motion. So it's here and back, forward, here, there, back, forward, side to side. You know, perhaps they just don't move in straight lines. It's just the way that we record their movement, because we are fixed in this idea of straight lines and curves, because that's where all their math is. Fractals teach us that we shouldn't be looking at it like that. And when you bring into the idea that there are perhaps multiple universes and multiple dimensions, perhaps these particles aren't just moving through our dimension, they're affected by jumping when the energy level changes from our dimension to another dimension and back again multiple times, and therefore it could be that in a trillion billionth of a second they're not in our universe at that time, and then they're in our universe, and then they're in a different universe for a trillion billionth of a second. You know, it could be that we are living in a much stranger environment than we could even comprehend. Jagged, broken, not smooth, total existence, but a fractured, jagged existence. Perhaps we ourselves aren't even in the same universe all the time either, you know. I know that sounds really, really strange to think about, but we really don't even know what a particle is, you know, to be honest with you. We don't even know what a particle is. If you can't tell where it is sometimes, then how do you know it even exists at that time? And we're all made up of particles, you know, so do we have a whole body that exists in the same universe all at the same time? Or could it be that some parts of our body, you know, is phasing in and out of different dimensions and different universes as we, you know, as particles proceed through the time space dimensions, you know. I know it's a very, very difficult concept probably for some people, and they just go, oh, you're just talking crazy shit. But no, I'm not talking crazy shit. I mean, this is the understanding I have anyway of reality, that reality itself is only what we observe. And there's a lot in the universe which we can't observe. And I've got no idea where particles are at those times we're not observing them. We can only render as what we see and smell and think and, you know, touch in the universe, as in so much as we record it when we see, smell and touch it, but not see, smelling and touching everything all the time. You understand? We do have a if not just a duality, but a multiple contact with other atoms around about us, even the air they breathe, you know. But I think, as I said, the fractal idea is probably something I think that some physicists could maybe try and view as something to be incorporated into their calculations, and to look at that idea of atoms being fractal-like, and not just a wave or a particle, but an actual part of a fractal pattern. I think maybe that could bust open some views of why we find it so difficult to understand, you know, the reality of an electron, a neutron. You know, it's just something I'm been wondering about. And this idea of worm theory, maybe we're not looking at this correctly. Maybe it's not a worm, maybe it's a fractal pattern. This is really what I was trying to get to when I started this video. Maybe it's not a worm, maybe it's not a squiggle. Maybe it's a fractal. You know, the underlying reality of you know, particles. Maybe it's a fractal pattern, and if we thought of it as a fractal pattern rather than a smooth piece of string, perhaps we might be able to make some further progress in the way that we see the real base underlying reality of the universe. Anyway, it's just an idea I had. I don't have the mathematical understanding to pursue it, but it's just a crazy thought that I had, which I was thinking I would just put it out there. I don't expect any genius mathematicians watch my channel, you know, but it's a thing that perhaps further down the road other people will take up. I believe that this is a thing that I do believe, that if somebody thinks something and talks about it and puts it out there in the ether, you know, it's a thing that others will think of. You know what I mean? It's like no truly unique inventions or discoveries have ever been made. There's always been 3 or 4 or 5 other people thinking along the same lines, discussing it, talking about it, writing about it. And so I'm just hoping that, you know, by me talking about it, it's a thing that's going to be out there and maybe going through the ether, and you know, it will land in some brain somewhere who does have the ability to look at it from that point of view, and maybe progress from this misunderstanding we have of the universe at the moment, which is completely confusing even to the most intelligent physicists, you know, and mathematicians. Maybe we just need to add something to the stew, you know. And I just hope that what I'm doing is helping a little bit. Anyway, as long as you've I know it's just another brain fart of Tersse, but you know, who fucking knows? Maybe, just maybe out there, my thinking and talking about it is put that angle into somebody else's mind who's going to take it further than I ever could. You know? As long as you've